This is Art Television.
Coming up, State of Business, sponsored by...
Manage all your SLT Mobitel services through the MySLT app.
IWS Aviation.
Hello there, you're watching our television. Welcome to State of Business with me, Pumada Katukampala. We have in the headlines. Government seeks to expand trade and investment with the UK. Board of Investment launches online visa recommendation system. Welcome back. Now let's have a detailed look at today's stories. Now, US Secretary of State Antony Blinken yesterday said that the crisis provides Sri Lanka with the opportunity to create a more democratic and inclusive government. Blinken made this remark in Cambodia prior to the meeting with his Sri Lankan counterpart Ali Sabri on the sidelines of the 29th ASEAN Regional Forum. In his remarks, Foreign Minister Sabri expressed Sri Lanka's appreciation to the role played by the US in trying to get an IMF bailout as soon as possible and the debt being restructured. According to him, the government sees that there is a huge obligation on its part to put the country back on track and get its economy out of the woods. Sabri also said in the recent past Sri Lanka received a high-level delegation and that there had been several roundtable discussions. The foreign minister also made it a point to stress that US aid has provided a lot of support during these very difficult times. Separately, Blinken tweeted that during his meeting with Indian External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar in Phnom Penh, he had discussed the implications of Russia's aggression against Ukraine and Sri Lanka's economic and political situation. Meanwhile, a recent Human Rights Watch report highlights the crackdown on dissent in the island. It accuses the Sri Lankan government of using emergency regulations to harass and arbitrarily detain activists seeking political reform and accountability for the country's economic crisis. It also alleges that since Ranil Wickremesinghe was sworn in as president, the police and military have sought to curtail protests through the intimidation, surveillance and arbitrary arrests of demonstrators, civil society activists, lawyers and journalists. The Human Rights Watch in its report also claims that lawyers and media organizations told them that they have experienced increased intimidation, including threats of violence and surveillance. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena and British High Commissioner Sarah Hutton discussed possibilities of enhancing trade and economic ties while attracting more investments from the United Kingdom. Hutton called on the Prime Minister at the office of the Prime Minister in Colombo yesterday, and they discussed the current political, social and economic issues in Sri Lanka and close cooperation between the two countries. Hutton said there is potential to attract more British investment in the power and energy sector, including renewable energy and hydropower. The Prime Minister said the Victoria Dam is a symbol of British assistance to Sri Lanka and thanked the UK for continuous assistance during current economic difficulties. The Prime Minister explained that efforts are being made to form an all-party government, and the High Commissioner said her country's expectation is to see the fulfillment of those efforts. She added that if some parties are not willing to join a unity government, at least they could agree on a national joint programme to help the country to overcome its economic difficulties. The British High Commissioner stressed that the democratic right to protest and freedom of expression as well as human rights must be protected. However, she said acts of violence cannot be condoned and such situations were unacceptable. Prime Minister Gunawardena explained Sri Lanka's achievements in sustainable development goals. The UK High Commissioner said her country could provide assistance under the Blue Planet Fund created at the COP26 Climate Change Conference in Paris. The Prime Minister explained plans to hold several international events to commemorate the 75th anniversary of independence, including a tourism pavilion and an investment forum, and requested to promote the participation of the United Kingdom. And now, Frontline Socialist Party, which plays a major role at the goal phase-based People's Struggle, requests political parties representing Parliament not to join the all-party government as it is a mere trap to cheat the general public. Speaking to media personnel in Colombo, FLSP leader Kumar Gunaratnam also said that the People's Struggle is not over and that it will continue with a new phase soon.
Ranil Wickremesinghe, the President and the Podujana Peramuna government, they urge for an all-party government, and we know this is not to rebuild the country or to find solutions for the economic crisis, but this is to suppress masses, because they don't have any solution at the moment. They don't have any economic reforms. According to the governor of the central bank, we had information that he had a number of discussions with foreign media and local media, and he clearly expressed his views and the details about the depth of the economic crisis in Lanka. Therefore, they don't have any solutions at the moment, and even though they managed to secure their government for a limited time of period, now they don't have any solution for the crisis, economic crisis, so they want to suppress masses, they want to suppress people by using emergency law and some other undemocratic laws. Therefore, we request all the parties representing the parliament who are not supporting the government and Ranil Wickremesinghe not to join with the all-party government.
Stay tuned for more stories after this short break.
More data when you stay and use more. Data ball one, data ball one. More data with low latency. Data ball one, data ball one. Take it anywhere with S30 Go. Data ball one, data ball one.
A non-stop journey with Data Ball One from SLT Mobitel Home Broadband.
Welcome back. You're watching State of Business. Now, the Board of Investment, with aim of enhancing the ease of doing business and accelerating digital transformation, today announced that the online visa recommendation system has been integrated. Under the newly launched system, visa recommendations will be granted under the visa categories, namely entry visas, residence visas, and when extending visas. In addition, the applicants who will be eligible to apply for this are the investor, employees and dependents of the investor, and selected employees. One of the major benefits enjoyed by investors or enterprises out of the novel system is the elimination of investors' physical presence at the BOI, saving their time. Investors can also monitor the online portal and review the status of the process. Upon the completion, the applicants will be notified via an SMS and email alerts. The applicants can then take the passport and relevant documents to the Immigration Department, where they will be issued the visa. Furthermore, the system will also safeguard against misuse in submission of information. Speaking at the launch of the system, BOI Director General Renuka Veerakon highlighted the benefits of the new system.
Today, we are reaching another milestone of our digital journey to enhance the ease of doing business and accelerating digital transformation. The BOI, the pinnacle body for investment promotion, is pleased to announce the completion of the integration of the visa recommendation system in coordination with the Department of Immigration and Emigration and the Ministry of Defense to provide online visa recommendation for potential investors visiting Sri Lanka and all the enterprises that fall under the purview of the BOI. The BOI initially completed the online system process with the Ministry of Defense, and today we take further steps to integrate the online process with the Department of Immigration and Emigration, which will allow investors and enterprises to submit the visa application online and obtain the approved application from the BOI. Up to now, the investors were required to make physical visits to the BOI head office for this purpose. However, with the introduction of the online platform, there is no need for the investors to visit the BOI or any of the institution other than once for collection of the visa document.
Also addressing the BOI launch event was Chairman of the Free Trade Zone Manufacturers Association, Jatinder Biala. Chairman Biala, while pointing to further work that will improve the ease of doing business, stressed that the new system will boost investor confidence.
I must appreciate your efforts and the Board of Investment officials and particularly immigration officials for taking this forward, because this will bring a lot of confidence among the investors, because at this moment when I don't want to go in detail of economy and other issues which all are being faced by the investors, this will certainly help them to bring the confidence back. There are various few other initiatives which I just take the opportunity to convey this to the officials, which is also long pending, where along with the immigration, the Ministry of Defence, I would request if the lead time can be reduced, that will be a great help, because there is a feedback that it takes little time, and particularly for the investors and new investors when they are coming in. So if it can be reduced, that would be also give a great help to all the investors.
Now, the Colombo Port City Commission has granted 6 fresh indenture of leases for a 99-year period to the investors valued at approximately $200 million. Investors have projected a collective investment commitment of $600 million. The Colombo Port City Economic Commission's record biannual progress report and project activities from January to June 2022 covers the update on the leases. The Colombo Port City has received 42 out of the 74 plots completed by the project company, for which completion certificates have been issued to the project company. Out of the 34 project company marketable land plots granted to the project company on a 99-year lease basis, 6 plots were released back to the Commission by the project company. Development control regulations for the entire project were gazetted in April 2022. Key regulations have been finalized, which are business of strategic importance, offshore companies, authorized persons, duty-free retail operations, fees and DZR. Additionally, an expedited approval for investor agreement and licensing process for potential investors and authorized persons have also been completed. The region's first downtown duty-free mall infrastructure work is now complete. Colombo Port City duty-free regulations have been drafted and are awaiting cabinet approval and will position Colombo as a regional shopping destination. The Commission, in collaboration with the Department of Immigration and Emigration (DIE), is streamlining and automating the visa application and approval process under the Colombo Port City law. The Commission is in discussion with the Singapore International Arbitration Centre (CIAC) regarding offering the International Commercial Dispute Resolution Centre to international operations and/or obtaining technical assistance from the SIAC under an MOU with the Ministry of Justice of Sri Lanka. An expedited process has been established with the Registrar of Companies in Sri Lanka for ease of setting up companies under Colombo Port City law under the single window facilitation process mandate defined in Section 30 of the CPCEC Act. The Monetary Board and Ministry of Finance have approved the CPCEC regulated offshore licenses of 4 banks initially. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka has created a new class of account available for all banks under its regulatory purview. The Colombo Port City Investment Account is designed to facilitate the inflow of funds to be used for investing in Colombo Port City. Stay tuned for stock updates.
More data when you stay and use more. Data bow one, data bow one. More data with low latency. Data bow one, data bow one. Take it anywhere with S30 Go. Data bow one, data bow one.
A non-stop journey with Data Bow One from SLT Mobitel Home Broadband.
Welcome back to the program. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on positive notes today. The all-share price index gained 104.23 points to close at 8,333.37, and the S&P SL 20 gained 50.48 points to close at 2,728.14. The turnover was 3.7 billion rupees and over 101 million shares were traded. Coming up next are forex rates. Well, that's a wrap from today's edition of State of Business. See you again on Sunday with Biz Roundup. Until then, take care and good night.